All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us this morning as we are joined by Zane Smith, driver of the number 38 Front Row Motorsports Ford Mustang Dark Horse in the NASCAR Cup Series. As we head for a big weekend, first international points race in NASCAR history in the Cup Series. Um, Zane, I know it's kind of a change for everybody, kind of interesting times. And even though Bob Pockris can't join us today, he's with us in spirit. So the first question kind of comes from Bob, just kind of wanting to know, how have you prepared for the higher altitude you're going to face this weekend in Mexico City?
My honest answer is I haven't done anything to prepare for that. I've spent some time down in Mexico, and I I don't know. I've been down there. I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. I could be completely proven wrong, but just prepared as normal as I would for the other 37 weekends. So I feel I kind of get myself, I don't want to say like spun out, but sometimes when it's a new race weekend like this, I feel like a lot of people try to not over prepare, but do things differently. And it just has never worked for me. And so approaching it as if it's any other race weekend, it's an awesome road course. And we're just outside of the country. So still points that are going to be given, and still going to be road racing. It's still a cup race. So big effort going at it. Been a little different, I guess, from like a film standpoint of like not really knowing what to watch. A F1 car, watching that doesn't really do it for me. But I've kind of watched like old highlights. I think where like Denny won the race or something like that. But and then obviously I've spent uh numerous laps on our Ford sim, and so that's been probably the most helpful thing. But it's just going to be kind of attacking the race weekend. I fortunately have a good amount of road course experience, and showing up to new racetracks was something that I just grew up doing. So I'm excited for it. I love the cup car on a road course. And yeah, I know how electric the fan base is going to be down in Mexico City. So I'm really looking forward to that.
All right, very good. We got a long line of questions here, so I'm going to ask that everyone just ask one question to kick us off, and then as we get through everybody, we'll circle back for follow-ups. Okay, so let's kick it off here with Leonardo Polanco. Go ahead, Leonardo. You kick us off.
Thanks. Simon, good morning. How are your expectations this week on Mexico? The sea level is quite a bit different. And how do you going to afford the setup on the car for the difficulty of the track?
Yeah. So I guess kind of going back to what we had from a setup standpoint at Coda just wasn't good for us. Coda has been a great racetrack for me in the past, and just it was a big struggle for us that whole weekend, and missed it a little bit. So um, I honestly, in ways, that's better than it being just completely like kind of good throughout the weekend, and then the race didn't go well. That kind of leaves a lot of question marks on the weekend. We just weren't very good all weekend. So we left Coda knowing that we needed to build on a new package of what I like. And from a sim standpoint, I really like how my car has been driving, at least at the Mexico City. And so I think the road course is awesome. It's going to be a lot of fun. Obviously, the altitude is going to be a little bit different from a engine feel. I've heard, and I definitely can see that being the case. I think I don't want to say like brake issues, but what brake package you have is going to be very interesting, and trying to diagnose that as quickly as possible in practice. And we have a decent amount of practice this weekend, so I know adjustments are going to be really important. Hopefully, we could unload close of a feel that I like, and I could spend every minute I can out on the track. I think that's going to be more valuable than small adjustments.
Thanks. Good luck.
Thanks.
All right, let's move over to Eddie. Good morning, Eddie.
Morning. Hey, Zane. Eddie Kalegi, Motorsports today. I think it's interesting with some of the newer tracks on NASCAR's circuit in the Cup Series, like Iowa, lesser extent Gateway. You had prior experience in other series racing there, and that's not the case this weekend. So how does that impact things from a preparation standpoint, that it's basically a level playing field for everybody going in blind?
Yeah, which I think an occasional weekend like this is really cool. Just I didn't get to do the first Chicago race, but I remember like all the talk around it of like, man, what what do we watch? And how do you prepare for this? And so it kind of reminds me of that. But this at least is I don't want to say or knock Chicago in any way because it's a ton of fun, that road course, but you're racing on a street. This is a proper road course. F1 goes here. And so if you're going to do it this way, I feel this is the best way you could possibly do it. And I remember when we were kind of in all these different road courses throughout like Truck and Xfinity or whatever. And then I remember when we first went to Coda, I was so excited because I knew that was a proper road course and it felt that way just in practice and everything. And so, yeah, I'm excited for that. It seems a little bit of everything. It kind of reminds me of Watkins Glen in a way, which has been a great track for me. Just kind of a fast, longer straightaway road courses where you really got to execute your braking zones. And then it's a little hint of Coda with the stadium section. So just kind of trying to like diagnose what I've had from all these different road courses and apply my strong suits, my weak suits, and hopefully apply them to the weekend. But I don't think any of us are going to know how we truly are until we unload down there.
All right, we're going to move over to Samuel Stubbs. Hello, Samuel.
Hi, Zane. Thanks for being with us today. I'm wondering, how have you seen yourself grow as a driver when you look at where you were at this point in the season, kind of halfway through the year, a year ago, kind of struggling a bit. You picked it up towards the end of the year, got rolling, come in with front row this year, and you picked up your second top 10 of the year at Michigan. And you have a lot more momentum behind you, I feel like, at this point this year compared to last year. So how have you seen yourself grow and develop in year two in the Cup Series versus year one?
Yeah, I mean, I've grown definitely as a driver. You grow every year. But to be honest, I don't feel like I've changed anything up with like, oh man, this is why I'm getting good results. My cars have a lot of speed, a lot of fast forwards. It seems like week in and week out. And if we are a little off, I feel my team and we're doing an incredible job of getting to where we need to be come Sunday. And so that's super important. And then I felt in the beginning of the year, I don't want to say we lacked any, but like keeping up with the racetrack is a bigger challenge when you start going cup racing. And so I feel that was maybe a challenge last year. And you just see these brutal rookie seasons for guys in cup. I don't remember anyone that just had, oh my gosh, his rookie season he just dominated, won all these races. So you pretty much try to survive through that first year and learn as much as you can and pretty much just take all the smack talking you can get. It seems like week in and week out, there's just so many things that like it just feels like a bad luck year, your rookie year. I don't really know why. It's still fun because you're cup racing and you're getting experience racing on Sunday and racing every weekend. I think that's really cool. But then just, yeah, your second year around, you know what to expect. By then you've experienced a lot of highs and lows, and you're still going to experience highs and lows in your second year. But I feel like you know how to react to them a little bit better. And yeah, you just know what a race weekend brings. Sunday it could totally be a little overwhelming at times, but trying to, I think, keep a level head and knowing what's important, what's not is probably the biggest thing.
Thank you.
Like you said, you're back home in a Ford, so that's the
yeah, exactly.
Let's bring in Claire B. Lang. Hello, Claire B. Why don't you fire off your question for Zane?
Thank you. I know, Zane, you said that you weren't going to worry about the altitude and you hadn't prepared. How has NASCAR prepared you for this? We've heard in the bubble, don't go anywhere. We've heard that Daniel Suarez has got a great place for everybody to go eat. We've heard that the teams are preparing. Are you mainly prepared by the team? What has NASCAR done to prepare you? How will it be different or won't it be?
My honest answer is there's a lot of overreaction from majority of the industry. And it's frustrating to hear and deal with. I've spent a good amount of time down in Mexico. I know I vacation in a different spot with a group of friends in Cabo. It seems like for the past few years, but there's a lot of people that are overreacting, and um, it reminds me of somewhat of Chicago too, of like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a train wreck. And then we go to Chicago and they're like, oh my gosh, this was the most fun weekend ever. And so
Yeah.
you just have to know what to expect a little bit in Mexico City, and in Mexico in general. There's good and bad areas, as there is everywhere. And yeah, I mean, you definitely do have to watch what you eat and drink. From my standpoint, I know what I'll be eating and drinking because I've been on the good and bad side of that. But yeah, just common sense, be smart, and yeah, it's just I feel like the saying "better safe than sorry" is definitely true this weekend. And so, and then yeah, the altitude stuff. Yeah, I mean that's going to be different to us, but we're I want to say like all in pretty good shape. I mean, there's at least on Sunday we race a lot, and you don't really see a lot of guys that like flop out of the seat on Sunday. Maybe like a really really hot weekend. But the last I've checked the weather, it looks like kind of like chillier and cold, rainy-ish. So it's not so much the heat standpoint. It's just I don't know. I guess yeah, the altitude, but yeah, like, I don't know. I've been down there and I don't really notice a huge difference, but we'll see. I may completely be gassed after this race, and we'll see. But all in all, I'm gonna go have fun, and I can't wait to go do some road course racing down in Mexico.
Have a good time on track, and thanks. Have a good time.
Thanks.
Yeah.
My memory is not the greatest, Zane, but did you get married or honeymoon down in Mexico a couple of years ago?
Man, so pretty much. So a little backstory here. My dad has ran the off-road race team, which races in Baja in Mexico. Pretty much majority of their races, it seems like, or at least their big races. And for that race team is for the Herbst family. And so that's why Riley and I are best friends and have been pretty much all of our lives. And so as of recent, I think it was right after my championship in 2022, we vacationed with Riley and her friends down in Cabo San Lucas. And it's honestly my favorite place on earth. And it's a ton of fun spending time down there with Riley and just having fun. And myself, Noah, and Riley, and even Todd on one of the trips, pretty much for the past, I think 3 or 4 years, we've gone down there and hung out and have had a unbelievable time. And so, yeah, it's awesome. But yeah, no, it's different for everyone. And to be honest, the most frustrating and annoying part is probably our itinerary dealing, because we have it so easy every weekend. We have pretty much chartered planes where we go to a FBO down in Statesville, where it's literally only race teams. So like there's no security or anything every weekend. So yeah, when you're flying out of the country, there's going to be some security and there's going to be a little bit more to it than flying to Pocono. So yeah, that's probably the most frustrating thing of, damn it, I wish I had my own plane, because this would be a whole lot easier. But I know once we're there, I think it's going to be cool and a cool experience for everyone. And it's great to have this style of fan base, just a new generation of fans, and some new faces. And like I said, I know how great the fans are down in Mexico, and I'm so excited to see them, and so excited for the sport to see their passion around motorsports. And so yeah, I'm ready for it.
All right, let's go to Brian Mino. Go ahead, Brian.
Zane, how are you? From Argentina. You are in 22 place in the championship, and you got a pole at Talladega. So how will you rate the season so far in your return to Front Row Motorsports? Thank you.
Yeah, it's been pretty dang fun. I mean, I'm probably having the most fun I've ever had throughout my racing career. And last time I think I said that was in 2022 with FRM. And so it's been great. Being able to get that pole, that was really cool. I feel like we've thrown away a lot of top tens, possible top fives. And I feel like we're getting ourselves closer and closer to putting ourselves in contention for a race win on Sunday. And that's crazy to say, but especially how last year went. But we're just picking away at it and trying to execute things the best of our ability. But it's been awesome being back at FRM and being teammates with two really close friends. And of course, just being back in the Ford family has been really special. And so I have some incredible memories with both Ford, the Ford family, and FRM not many years ago. And we have some incredible memories on the truck side, but fighting hard and working hard to create some more memories on Sunday.
Saying thank you and good luck in Mexico City.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to head over to Luis Torres. Go ahead, Luis.
Thank you. I appreciate getting the name right as well. So, anyways, Zane, going back to as referring to the season, you had the top 10 in Michigan, of course, fuel strategy being the talk of Sunday's race. How, from a driver's perspective, how nerve-wracking is it having those races where it comes down to fuel, which has kind of become a rarity these days with all these late cautions and stages and vice versa?
Yeah, it's I mean, even the races where fuel mileage isn't talked about, it's always playing a role behind the scenes. And so from the moment we fire our cars up Sunday morning, we are shutting them off trying to save fuel so our pit stops are shorter. You have to take less fuel than the next guy. And we've seen a lot of wins happen from some guys doing that better than the next guy. And so yeah, Michigan, as oftentimes it does come down to fuel strategy, and it is kind of confusing at times from a driver's seat where you don't really know, like, man, what is this ultimate goal we are doing right now? Because you'll get track position and you're like, hey, we got to go take more fuel right now, so we don't got to a little later. And it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to you at the moment. And then typically whenever it does work out for you, you're like, okay, I'm glad that worked out. But there's guys on Sunday where their strategy didn't work out. For us, we made a few mistakes and a caution fell that really hurt us early in the race, fortunately, and put us like in a bad. I was in good track position at the time. I think I was like just outside the top 10, 11th or 12th, and that caution came out. And before that, pretty much every single guy behind me had just pitted, and they were in a better tire and fuel position. And I knew that kind of put everyone in the window once that big wreck in 1 and 2 happened. And we were going to go from, let's say, 12th, 13th, wherever I was, to pretty much 30th, because I was at the end of that group that now had to come and get fuel ultimately. And so those things are frustrating. It didn't work out that way. I think I came out around 20th because some guys behind me did come down as well to work on their car and get in a better fuel position. But yeah, just a thing of mistakes that we did on Sunday made us be put in a position of taking 2 tires multiple times, and it worked out. And so was proud that we were able to hold off a lot of those guys on 4 tires to ultimately score a good finish. And yeah, and any time you get finished in the top 10 on Sunday is a good day. And we raced inside the top 10 pretty much majority of the day. And so I had good speed, another positive weekend, just a few things we need to clean up.
Thank you.
All right, Zane, we got 2 more and then we'll call it a day. Let's go to Scotty Powell. Hello, Scotty.
Hey, and hey, Zane, thanks for joining us. I hope Dan doesn't count this as one question, but I gotta know what's on your hat. What is that?
This is yeah, it's funny. It's the Benabone logo.
Okay.
Well, one of their logos. This is technically, I guess, a pig. And then I think on the side or something is like a chicken. And yeah, it catches some attention. So it's cool. Benabone actually just sent me some really cool hats for my birthday. It's pretty much my dogs just on the front too. And there's not even been a bone on it, but people have really recognized now my dogs. Just when they see my dogs, they think Benabone, which is great. And so obviously my car this weekend has my dogs on it as well. So hope to get them a good run.
I love it. I love it. Question for you is, you've talked about just enjoying road course racing in general, and I know we have Mexico City this week, but obviously coming up on Chicago and Sonoma and eventually Watkins Glen. What makes you really enjoy road course racing? What is it about that style of racing that just
Yeah.
enjoy?
Well, I grew up karting, and so road course karting, and I grew up in California doing that all around the East Coast, all around the country, really. And a lot of people, it's crazy watching IndyCar. Pretty much every single guy that I grew up racing with, competing for wins when we were 8 years old, is pretty much the whole IndyCar field now. There are a couple guys in F1 that have ended up in F1 now. And then I don't know if anyone in NASCAR that I grew up karting with, but it's cool to see us end up in all these different forms of motorsports. And it's cool to kind of carry that torch racing on Sunday. And we all kind of connect still through social media. And I always ultimately pull for those guys in, let's say, the Indy 500, or they have a good run, maybe in F1. And it's just kind of cool to see you compete against those guys at such a young age. I don't remember a whole lot of it, but obviously pictures they remind you of it. And yeah, it's cool.
All right, our anchor leg taking us home. RJ, go ahead. Last question.
Hey Zane, so obviously as we stand right now, you're setting to be potentially in a battle for the cut line for the playoffs on points, but we know how unpredictable the summer can be, especially with all these tracks. What's the dynamic between, you and your team, and this goes beyond you, obviously on the crew chief box as well, but what's the dynamic like between strategizing for wins this summer and strategizing for points?
Yeah, unfortunately we're like right in that weird position of like, hey, let's try to ultimately get a win, but man, we can't give away stage points. Stage points it's insane just what it carries you to. But man, I feel so confident from a strategy standpoint where with what Ryan Briganti, my crew chief, does and how he approaches a race. Even when I think the day is going ugly, I know he has something up his sleeve. So I love that. I feel that's just a big thing that could carry you in this sport right now with how close everyone is. If you have a little off day, you got to do something different. If it works out or not, who cares? At least you tried. And I feel like it more times than not, it pays off. And so it's been a ton of fun working with him. But yeah, I mean, we have some great tracks coming up. I feel obviously confident on the super speedways with the speed our FRM Fords bring, and then yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to Pocono. I'm looking forward to all these road courses coming up. I'm just excited to get going. I think we have like 11 races or something till that cutoff. So that's a ton of things that's going to happen on a lot of Sundays. So just trying to stay focused, collect as many points as we can, see where we end up.
Thank you, man. Good luck in Mexico.
Thanks.